Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Downtown Jason Brown with a special Beyond the Bell interview here with former VWU World Heavyweight Champion, former DCA World Heavyweight Champion, and former UWO Champion, Malik Brown. How you been, Malik?
Been good. Been good.
Now, I know there's probably been a lot on your mind within the past couple of months. Um, with the whole thing that's gone down with stuff in Black November with Trixie and recent events that have happened with Carmen and stuff like that. One thing that we all recently found out is you're not going to be on the Revelation 7 card. Is is that something that you wanted, or was that just how the cards seem to have laid?
I know it's a little weird because ever since the first Revelations, I've been on every single one of them. But this one I'm not, and it's it's done by me. It's done by me
So that
because
okay.
mostly because there's a lot that needs to be done, and I'm for once sacrificing a spot on Revelations just so I can fix certain things that have been going on.
With a lot of things that have been going on, um, as we were talking about with the whole Black November, I guess let's rewind back to where all this started, back at Proving Ground 7, um, which seems to just be the catalyst for everything that's gone on within the past several months, for a lot of people. Um, and what most people remember about that event is when you were revealed as a member of Black November, when you need James Needham in the face, and a lot of harsh comments were said towards you. I would,
That's nothing new.
I was one of those people, and I deeply regret the things I've said. Um, you know, I feel like I feel like every time I see you, I have to apologize to you for a lot of things that I said that night, which I'm deeply, deeply sorry for. Um, on that night when you need James Needham, and then what happened afterwards, we didn't truly, I guess, understood why it happened until months later when you just laid everything out and told everyone what's going on, um, why you did it, the people that were in the audience and everything like that. I guess for a lot of people, why did you wait so long to reveal what was truly going on?
Because nobody was willing to listen to me, even if I were to say why. And plus, you know what? I've never made it a secret. I have never been all right, ever. And quite frankly, because of Roman and what he said, I'm gonna confess on a lot of stuff. But ever since Gateway to Heaven, I will say the following: I held back on what was going on for months because because quite frankly, I got fed up of everybody pretty much judging me. I got fed up with a lot of people that got mad, not understanding why or choosing to understand why. They just jumped to the conclusion. So, in a moment of weakness, held. In a moment of weakness, I let everybody talk. In a moment of weakness, I let everybody say what they want to say, think what they want to think, feel how they want to feel until everything calmed down. And then I could tell people, okay, so now that you got all this, so now that you got your little anger out of the way, let me tell you what really happened. And was it right for me to hold that? No, it wasn't. But I'm human, and I'm a human that's been burnt by people and by myself. And I'm just as damaged as everyone else. The difference is I've been holding it in for far too long because I couldn't trust a soul to actually sit down and talk to at that point. And it felt like that all over again. Um, that very interesting year. I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So my mindset was not in the best mindset, and I did things that were wrong, and it just boiled down to me going back into that headspace of trust no one until you can see whether you can trust them or not. And that was wrong of me. Do I regret holding back what I felt? A little bit. I do feel regret for not telling people beforehand, but in another way, it kind of helped because I saw people's true colors.
I think one of the people who, because when you did give the explanation and everything like that, to me that it sounded like that was what I needed to hear from you, was that explanation and everything like that. And like I said, I should have came to you earlier, but it is what it is. But one person that seems to not really be satisfied with your response, with your explanation, everything like that, and I can kind of guess, you know, who I'm about to bring up. Um, this whole this whole ordeal between you and James Needham, he and to be frank, we can throw Hit Kid in there. It just seems like the Needham brothers are not satisfied with what you said and thinking that there is more to it and stuff like that. How does that make you feel?
It makes me laugh. I'll say this: it's a one-sided ordeal. That's him that's upset about that. I'm not. But then again, James Needham has never been satisfied with a lot of shit because it doesn't fit his his ideal of himself, and that's what it boils down to. Of course, Neeb's not going to be satisfied, right? Because, damn the fact that I saved him from embarrassment or something to the equivalent of what happened to Sly, or something far worse. Damn the fact that I saved him and Arcan and Claudio from something that was going to be really fucking horrific. Never mind the fact that Zach literally had to strongman his way into that fucking ring just to pin you because he got clocked with a lead pipe by somebody. Yes, I'm so sorry that didn't satisfy you. But then again, it just goes to show that James Needham is just as selfish as everybody else. The difference is some people will admit it, he won't. And if he does admit it, he'll only admit it when he's forced into the situation. He's not man enough to admit his faults. He's not man enough to admit his scars and his wounds. He'll just passive aggressively pass it off, or dare I say we'll agree to disagree, or go along the lines of, yeah, I'm this, but there's no but. The fact is with Needham is that what I did at Proving Ground 7 was to save a bunch of guys that could have helped in something that was slowly growing. Needham was the selfish one. And that's literally what it boils down to. Needham's the selfish one. Am I fucked up for hiding a lot of shit? Yes. But everything I did was for the sake of an ongoing fucking war that was happening and trying to keep things from getting worse. While your big thing was, I just want to spite Chris McClain. I want to spite Claudio. I want to spite these people because damn them for taking away an opportunity. Damn Chris McClain for, even though he's a colossal asshole and he's a heartless sociopath, damn him for caring about my fucking health. Damn Arcan for doing the same thing I would do. It's not my fault. I'm the victim. I don't owe James Needham shit. I don't owe James Needham an explanation. I don't owe him shit. What James Needham needs to do is grow up. And honest to God, admit and man up and admit his own fuck-ups. Instead of trying to put it down on everybody and talk about, oh, I don't like them, including Hit Kid. Hit Kid, you know what, Hit?
Because it does seem like the last couple of times that you were on the commentary booth with Hit Kid, it almost seemed like there was a lot of things were about to blow up. So, I guess if you got something you need to say, I guess the floor is yours with that.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll say this. Hit. Big Brother ain't gonna save your ass forever. I thought you would learn that when Heretic did what he did to you. That's my question. Don't you get tired? I think my thing is this for both of them. Don't you get tired of always trying to play the victim when half of the things you do are your own doing? I remember when you came up and you bitched me out about the news things. Oh, you reap what you sow. Hit, I got a question. When you go to bed and you look in that mirror and you see that H that's carved into your chest, how the fuck are you going to tell me I should reap what I sow? What was the heretic then? What was the heretic? You running your mouth at something beyond your comprehension and your control, and you thought you were safe. No, you weren't. This goes beyond. Sometimes there are things that go beyond wrestling, and sometimes that's not what it happened. That's not where we're trying to go. But then when it goes beyond it, then there's a problem. See, that's the problem with both Hit and Needham. Hit especially. Hit acts like such an entitled little child. Like he's entitled an answer when it's right in front of his fucking face. Oh, he's entitled for what I did or what Zach did. He's entitled because he feels that Zach needs to prove his worth. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? What have y'all done? Y'all are still at a point where you still got shit to prove. Zach ain't got to prove shit to you. The only people Zach has to prove anything for is himself. He ain't got to prove shit to you. And I'm gonna be real. He has had to prove a lot of things to any of his fans or the people out there. He don't have shit to prove except to himself.
And speaking of Zach, that night when Zach was attacked, did you all ever find out who the perpetrator was that attacked Zach?
No, he was masked, but we knew that it had to be somebody that Kenshiro sent.
The guys in the audience, were any of them ever identified, or was it another situation where they were wearing masks or disguises?
Disguises. We've been trying to figure out who they've been, all the while trying to figure out how big is the blood trail. And yeah,
because it does seem like day by day it does feel like the blood trail is just becoming this almost unstoppable force right now. It almost seems like every other month there's a new head to the Hydra, um, a new cog in the wheel of the blood trail. Um, in There's been a lot of people, Claudio and Sly, and all of them, who have tried to unite the front, but it almost seems like no matter what happens, it doesn't. It falls apart, and the blood trail just seems to get stronger. Where everyone on our side seems to just be fighting amongst each other.
You're right. And that's partially my fault. I'll take responsibility. But I think the biggest issue is nobody's willing to swallow their pride and realize that there's something more important than their own personal grudges, their own personal problems. Your personal problems don't mean a damn thing if you ain't got a place to vent them at. You Here is a group trying to take away your livelihood, the thing that you grew up loving and are passionate about, and you still can't let go of shit that harms you because of a certain person. I'm no different, I know. But if I'm able to break out of that and clear my head because somebody was willing to tell me what you're doing is bullshit, and you could have trusted me, and I would have been there for you, and now I'm here for you, then I mean, can I say it any clearer?
I mean, you're making it crystal clear right there.
I mean, here's the thing. Everyone on the blood trail, they have their own different purposes. They have their different set of morals, but they're ran with one goal in mind: misery. They're ran with one purpose, and that is to bring misery, and that is to use the very bitterness, hatred, ugliness that we have all had and use it against us and fucking tear us down. And in some instances it's working, in some instances it's not. There's too many people trying to talk about what we need to do, but there's not enough action on any side. And that's funny because I know there's like, well, what have you been doing, Malik? You don't have to see what I'm doing on camera. Behind the scenes is a different story. But even then, the people that, want to make a united front, I feel for them and I'm with them every step of the way. But the problem is, the only way a united front can truly happen is if someone grows enough of a conscience to realize that their problems are mediocre. They're meaningless compared to the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, how the fuck can you be the best and be a world champion when there's no company for you to be a world champion in?
With with how things have been going on in certain events, with the whole, I hate digging up old wounds and everything like that, or current wounds and stuff like that. But I think it's stuff that needs to be answered, and stuff that I guess you probably need to let out. The whole thing, what happened with Trixie. First things first, have you heard anything from Amber? How's she doing? If you've heard any news.
She hasn't talked. She's just been looking. She's just been staring at a wall. The last thing I remember her was writing on a notepad, "I'm fine." That's it.
With everything that transpired with Trixie, um, why? I don't know if I know with you were behind Trixie 100% of the time and everything like that, but certain things Trixie has brought up before that when she got attacked, no, there was no Black November watching her back. That things were kept secret from her and everything like that when she joined. Um, how how do you feel about everything that transpired with Trixie?
Uh, it was a mistake on our end, and I mean, she went on record to say you tried for me, but I should have put more effort in to at least tell her. Uh, but she at least, but again, she said, she never had a problem with me. It was Zach and everyone else. Because the thing was, it was Zach mostly who always was there for Trixie. Everybody else always tried to be there for Trixie, and so did I. But there got a point where there was radio silence. I tried to keep up with Trixie. Everyone else kind of got lost in their own stuff. Amber got lost in her. Amber pretty much got lost in her own thing, which everybody can. I have my opinion about it, and and honestly, I just think I'm gonna be fair with you. I just think it was an over exaggerated thing that went too fucking far, and everybody got too fucking heated for, I'm gonna be real, no reason. I still feel to this day that that was an over exaggeration. I mean, yeah, you can talk about how what Amber did was deplorable, but I mean that compared to, I don't think we're in any position to talk about deplorable. Look what the fuck I'm wearing on my arm right now.
How have you been able to cope with that? With what happened to Sly, if there is any coping?
There's not. I just keep moving. I've I've at least tried to talk to Murray and Carmelita and all of them. I I check up on them to see if they're okay. But right now a lot of us need a really there needs to be a pillar. There needs to be someone strong. So I'm trying to be that, whether people see it or not.
And I guess my next question is not on takedown. Ooh, excuse me. What happened on takedown 70? What happened to Claudio when uh, Asani pretty much jammed his thumb right into Claudio's eye? Claudio trying to give Asani a TKB, but he hesitated, and Asani jammed his thumb into Claudio's eye again. Um, and that's pretty much it's made Claudio go MIA right now. Um, how do you feel about Claudio's chances against Asani right now?
I think you should be asking me what are Asani's chances against Claudio.
All right, where are Asani's chances against Claudio?
Slim and pray to your God.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, he tried to take Claudio's eye. But if you think that's gonna stop Claudio, then you're an idiot. If Brian McAvelli really fucking thinks that's gonna stop Claudio, no, it's not. You're just delaying the inevitable. You know, Brian, you spent all these years trying to find somebody more dangerous than Tyson, and and maybe you did, but that's the thing. You found someone more dangerous than Tyson. You never found someone more dangerous than Claudio. Claudio's been through too much, way too goddamn much. So, oh yeah, he's MIA now, but I know he's okay, and I have faith he'll be okay. And I also know that when he comes back, Sonny is gonna learn what happens when you stare into the eyes of a fucking dragon.
With us talking about Claudio, um, that leads us into the next question. Something I really didn't know how to address with you, but the whole Carmen situation. We all saw what happened back on how you reacted when she removed the Gint mask and it was revealed to be Carmen, and she helped Devataki win the SRW World Title, and now Carmen's been on this. I don't even know how to classify it as. How has that made you feel? And I guess the question is,
I was I was pissed when it first happened. I wanted to be angry, but I just remember what I remember afterwards was Maya looking me dead in the eye, not a word, and I realized watch, and I realized Maya brought me there for a reason. Maya brought me there to show me something that I needed to see. And honestly, I don't I never made it a I never made it any I've never made any lies about it. What Carmen and I had was chaotic, explosive, and to some extent self-destructive on both of our ends. I never made things better. We both didn't, and that led to a lot of heated feelings against me. Have I made my forgiveness? Yes, but there's never been that there's never been that closure between the both of us because the scars are too much, or in some cases, it was just Carmen trying to move on in her own way while also trying to help others, trying to build something that she never had. So she would tell you. But what's going on with her now? You can fight demons for so damn long, but there's gonna be a point where those demons take control, and you just say fuck it. That's just been the thing. For the longest fucking time, Carmen has never felt like she was really in control of a lot of things. She never felt like she had any sort of control of her life, and she has. Does that justify the shit she's done to Maya and Trixie? No, no, the fuck it doesn't. It doesn't justify any of it. But if anyone thinks what she's doing right now is a cry for help, then congratulations. Y'all are the ones who keep saying y'all know Carmen Cortez. Y'all don't know jack shit about Carmen Cortez. That's not a cry for help. That's a begging for it. That's a begging for death. Because she's fed up. She's fed up with everything. And I hate to say it, and maybe she hates to hear it from me, but she's just like me in that regard. Too prideful, too stubborn, and too pissed off at the world to admit that she needs help. Too busy trying to help everyone else out and trying to be a foundation for other people has led her to having her willpower and her spirit and her everything being chipped away brick by brick. Devitaki saw that, and she took full fucking advantage.
With Annie, pretty much making it a go to reach out. Well, for her and the family. Do you think they can be able to reach her? Because I know Annie will not stop until she can reach Carmen.
If she doesn't give up, then they should continue. Because the last thing Carmen needs, as much as she's pushing people away, she does not need to be alone. So keep fighting. No matter what people tell you, keep fighting. Because to be fair, I know this is fucked up. What Trixie, what anybody says doesn't matter. Yeah, what's fucked up, what happened to Trixie is a completely fucked up thing. And you know what? Carmen will have to answer to that, and she will have to really be in tune with her fucking soul on that regard. But that's your wife. That's your lover. That's someone's mother. Just don't give up on them. Especially when you know that, like I said, she needs to finally be told you don't have to be, you can finally be what you want to be. And you don't have to always be somebody that everyone expects you to be. Be real. Be fucking honest. And Carmen, you're probably not going to hear this. You're probably not going to pay attention, or maybe you will. Or maybe you're just going to give the very same cryptic half-ass messages I used to do on Twitter. But if you think your own family isn't going to love you for who you really are, then you're wrong. And you're probably asking, well, who am I? I know who you are. So does Maya. So do the Saints. They all know who you are. Question is, do you know who you are? You let people for years dictate who you should be. You should have been real from the beginning and told them who you are. And you know what? It's coming back on you. But the family should continue to fight for her. They should continue to be there for her. Because right now, there's not a lot of people that will fight for her. There's too much pity, not enough action.
Speaking of family, with Carmen's family, we've I remember Ray Jackson pointing this out. Um, her youngest child, the one everyone calls the hothead, the one that James Needham seems to mock every chance he gets.
Well,
Um,
James Needham has a death wish, but then again, I mean, I guess I would be an arrogant. I guess I'd be an arrogant son of a bitch too if I cheated death over somebody who I fucked over just to make a career.
but what Ray Jackson said, he's Carmen to a T, and we've seen a lot of similar patterns that Carmen has done in her life. Leo seems to be following that. Is is there anything you would want to say to Leo?
I remember that night I pulled Leo to the side and we drove for hours, and I told him, and I sat with him. I said, "Listen, that passion that can be used, weapon, but that shit is such a double-edged sword. Do not drive yourself down that same hell that your mother drove herself into, because you will be no good to anybody else, not even yourself, if you keep up with that. There's nothing wrong with pride, but have too much pride and you will get yourself hurt. You will get yourself put in the ground." I told him, I said, what JT did was fuck with your head, and you let it happen. I told him, you're better than that. You ain't gotta listen to me. But if your father was here, he'd say the same damn thing. I said, a parent's job, and I know Claudio is this way too. He does not want you to be anything like him or Carmen. He wants you to be better than him. Be better than your mother. Be better than your father. Don't fall into those same vices, those same demons. Because if you do, you have no future. It will burn it will burn out quicker than a supernova.
With family and everything, um, how's been everything with you and your wife?
Well, fiance, but we
Fiance.
were gonna get married, but postponed weddings and all that.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to keep her away from what was going on. She was one of the first to say, "Let me join you." I said no, and I told her, "I don't. It's not that I think you're not strong. No, you're a tough ass woman. I just don't want you to get caught in the mess that's about to happen." Uh, I don't make it any. There was a point where I scared the hell out of her because I kind of went on record. Y'all saw it on Twitter. I went around and I started burning houses. I found the addresses of members of the Blood Trail and I burned their homes in retaliation, or in my own way of retaliation. And I put myself and her at risk, and she was upset about that. But we are a lot better now. She's still stuck with me, and honestly, She's one of the few things in my life right now that's keeping my head on straight.
With everything that's been going on, with Kenshiro, with Gnarly, and now Clockwork being involved, it seems like this entity that is the Blood Trail seems to just continue to cast this shadow of doubt over the VWU. In your opinion, right now, is there still a chance that we can stop this?
It won't. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but there's a chance. The problem is people need to understand that things are not always what they seem. I said it before. I'll reiterate. Kenshiro is one out of the Kenshiro is one out of the main heads of what is known as the Blood Trail. Gnarly? Gnarly's just a paid sponsor. Clockwork? Nothing more than Nila's personal project come to life, as she has been an excellent host. Maybe this is arrogance, but I don't worry about. But in a way, in the grand scheme of this war that's happening, I don't worry about Clockwork, because Clockwork is not factor. Clockwork is only for himself and what he wants to feed on. Oh, he'll tell you that, I fully put myself into this war. I know he's not. He just wants one thing, and one thing only. Because he knows it, and many other people know he's waiting for that day when Sly comes back. Gnarly. Gnarly is just a bitter man who wants to get back at the people who wronged him. And Kenshiro and the other heads of the Blood Trail gave him the resources, the finances, and the power to do so. I found that out. The majority of Gnarly's finances comes from them. For the longest time, that's how Gnarly got all that power. That's how Gnarly was able to do what he did with WWA. Well, everyone knows that, don't they? There's a chance. I think the question is everybody willing to fight a war? An actual, honest to God war? Because you'll have to. This is not going to end. These are just battles. The true war is still beyond the horizon.
And with that and everything, is Black November and the principal, are they still working together, or is, with everything that's happened, is there been a disconnect between you all and Oseko?
I like to wish there wasn't a disconnect, but that's up for Oseko herself to say. I'm still willing to work with them. We're still willing to work with them. The majority of them have a problem with Zach, but that needs to be put aside. If you want to talk about the importance of what's going on, then cool. Put aside all the feelings, your own morality, your viewpoints, and help us. I'm willing. I know Black November is willing.
Before we end this, is there anything you want to say to the people out there before we go?
For the ones that still saw me as somebody that was still broken and needed help, thank you. For the ones that were plotting my downfall and wanting me to fall and was ready to judge me, I got no love for you, and I have nothing to tell you. You don't deserve an apology, and you're not going to deserve an answer out of me. Like I said, Gateway to Heaven has made me realize a lot of things about myself. And it's also made me truly not give a shit about anything in regards of the people that don't matter. I'm going to be real. From this day forward and onwards, I'm just going to be as real as they get. Either you like it or you don't.
Well, with that being said, thank you, Malik, for coming onto the show. Thank you for letting everything go, let all your emotions out and everything like that, and honestly speaking from the heart, from the soul. I want to thank you for that.
No problem.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Downtown Jason Brown. This has been Beyond the Bell, and we'll see you all next time. And done.